Hey friends, welcome back cruisers. We're here today to discuss what's in your kit, and specifically we teach some paragliding specific wilderness first aid classes, and so further in the video we're going to get into that, what's actually in our first aid kits that we carry while cross country flying. So first let's check out my my regular old cross country pack. Alright, so let's quick break down the pack. Okay, so first of all, got a few things on the side. You know you're going to need one of these for when you land. Then I keep my radio there. And then another little interesting thing, this little pouch here, I carry a multi-tool, a little roll of duct tape, a headlamp, and then specifically a large glider strap, which we'll talk about later, could be used as a pelvic binder, helping with some of those issues. Okay, so let's get into the meat here, so to speak. You can tell I've got my general clothes, a buff, some either during flight or après flying snacks, and then extra jacket, and then of course this time of year I got my goggles and my heated gloves. And then let's see what's in the rest of the pack. So inside of this pack, you're gonna see a couple other things. One is I've got the world's lightest Concertina bag, thanks to the ripstop pilot. Shout out to you, bro, from the UK who made this for me. But if you'll come over, okay, so you can sort of get a view of this Concertina bag. Just maybe that's a shout out later, but super lightweight, tiny little buckles, no zippers. And then let's take a look at this harness. Also, keep an eye out. There's a review for the Strike 2. This is the Super Air Strike 2 harness. And there'll be a review for that later. I've also got this really wide, fast Hex Buckle strap. This came off of a watershed bag. But I use it for keeping my harness when it's all collapsed together. But it too could be useful in a number of ways, whether it's splints or, again, this one could be really great around somebody's pelvis. So you got the old inReach, and then here's my reserve, my flight deck. You can see that. In here I keep a power pack, a couple of various leashes for the flight deck, and then of course as well my hook knife for that ever so fun ocean flights. Let's look and see what's in the back. In this harness I carry a version of a tree kit which evolves differently depending on the terrain I'm flying in. But right now it's pretty simple, 2 double link slings and a couple of locking carabiners, which are helpful for not only creating an improvised harness, but also attachment points to whatever tree I might end up in. And that's as light as that kit goes. Sometimes I add Dyneema spool to it, something like AM steel, like 3mm AM steel. If you don't know a way to improvise those things for tree rescue, you need to get educated on it. Otherwise, it's not going to be helpful to you. One other thing that I keep inside of this kit that a lot of people don't think about is this. And that is, I regularly embed a insulite pad, not only for just bivouac and unplanned stuff, but also can be used as splinting material and even just keeping a patient warm when something doesn't go well. You'll notice that one of the ways I accordion fold is to put a nice slit down it. Pretty helpful for that. It fits nicely in the back. Kind of even helps to beef up the back protection in this harness, and it weighs almost nothing. Additional stuff that lives in here, I got some emergency snacks that live in here, and then I carry a pack cover in case I get dealing with rain, sometimes overdevelopment and so forth, and another little Vario just in case the helmet Vario or the standard Vario isn't working, or the phone app. In addition to the inflatable airbag that sits underneath this harness has got a pouch right here, and you see some of the stuff that I carry in that pouch. So let's take a look. got these two kits. Let's take a look at what's in there. Okay, so this is a pre-built kit that I've added a lot to. We use them at work and other places, but there's some stuff to point out. There's an EpiPen, and you know, it has your traditional sort of comfort things. Has a bunch of stuff, including like a emergency blanket to add to it, but gloves, duct tape, athletic tape, even you can see tweezers, band-aids, some small over-the-counter drugs like ibuprofen, diphenhydramine, or Benadryl, and that kind of stuff. Also has an extra little thing of fire starter / waterproof matches. This was just kind of like, if you're going to spend the night out for a while and you need something to help deal with a problem, that could be it, but it's not going to help you deal with a big problem. Let's go to the other kit for that. Okay, so this kit right here is the one that I use. It's kind of got, when something bad has happened, how can we fix something pretty substantial? And so, you know, what you carry in this kit needs to be adjusted to your training level. So you're gonna see some things in here that if you're not trained to place them, they're not gonna help you. It's just added weight. But if you are trained to place them, it might really change the trajectory of a rescue, or even for that patient, how that goes. Okay, so you can see here, we've got a few things. A couple of ACE wraps, again, good for not only the splinting sort of realm, but also really good for just creating pressure bandages and stopping bleeding. Look at the volume of ACE wraps we have there. Got a SAM splint, again, super helpful for creating a splint. Some emergency trauma dressing, again, dealing with massive hemorrhage or bleeding. Some cravats to add to that whole piece. And then you can see I've got a few cravats there, which are triangular bandages, good for splinting in general. And then I've got a couple of pre-lubricated NPAs, or nasopharyngeal airways. And these are helpful for just establishing and maintaining an airway with someone. Okay, a couple other little things in here that are important to point out. One is a SWAT T tourniquet. It's just a multifaceted tourniquet that's easy to pack and carry, and can be used for not only pressure dressings as well, but you can improvise it to other stuff. Another couple of interesting things, I carry a face shield and some gloves, again, easy to get to, and a little waterproof packaging. And then finally I carry a couple of these, some chest seals, which are good for just, you know, dealing with any sort of open pneumothorax or a sucking chest wound, if you will. So pretty important in certain types of trauma. And so those are the things I add to the regular kit. In addition, you'll find some things like a soap note and a reminder of like a rescue card, which even help like clear up communications and so forth. And finally, some more emergency food and some writing utensils like a pen and a pencil. So there you go. So there you go. That's kind of the stuff, the core of what I carry in my cross-country kit. Obviously, each day I might change the amount of food and water I bring. And I might change the amount of jackets or gloves that I'm bringing. But one thing that I would encourage you to do, if you haven't done it before, get some training. Like really, some of you are thinking to yourself, there's a lot of stuff in here that you don't want to carry. Well, you probably don't want it to be used on you. But I'll tell you this, having somebody that knows what to do with it and having those tools there, that can make the difference in the rest of your flying career, not just for you, but for those around you. And so if you're interested, we only teach maybe 1 or 2 courses a year in specific to paragliding. I'll drop a link in the description if you want to check out our site. But otherwise, just go take a regular wilderness first aid class, or take a wilderness first responder class, or get even higher levels of training. It's just generally a good thing. It helps all of us if we know what to do when we need to do it. We'll catch you next time, cruisers.